This is the top 5 best assault rifles in Warzone 2 right now. Every single one of these are going to be assault rifles that you're going to be able to easily use with the least amount of recoil and the highest TTK. So we're starting out with the TR-76 Geist, and we're going to throw on the 8-point flash hider. This, in my opinion, is the best attachment to have the best amount of recoil control for the TR-76 Geist. Is for muzzle flash concealment and recoil steadiness at the cost of some aim down sight speed and aiming stability, which is not a big deal. You're not even going to notice it, and there are going to be so many more attachments that help this out. Now for the tuning on the 8-point flash, you put the gun kick control to 0.23 inches and the recoil smoothness to 0.35 ounces. So you put on a Brune Bridle Heavy for recoil control, damage range, bullet velocity, and hip fire accuracy at the cost of some aim down sight speed, movement speed, and hip recoil control. Who cares about hip recoil control when it comes to assault rifles? I mean, movement speed and aim down sight speed may suck a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter. Tuning is 0.25 inches and the recoil steadiness is at 0.50 pounds. Put on the 7.62 high velocity for bullet velocity at the cost of some damage range. Trust me, it's going to be worth it, and you're not even going to notice a reduction of damage range because of the tuning. The tuning, I put the bullet velocity at 9 GR and the damage range of 0.70 G. I put on a 45 round mag because the guy's single tap mod is probably the worst thing they've ever put in the Call of Duty. If this made it like a 2-shot, then it would be much better, but this is just overall not good. I then put on the MW2, but anything you put on here is personal preference. You can choose whichever one that you actually want. The tuning, I just maxed out the far distance. The Cronin Squall is still one of the most powerful weapons in the game. I know it's classified as a battle rifle, but we're going to put this in the top 5 assault rifles just because it fits. We start out with the second Tread 40 for vertical and horizontal recoil control. This is the main thing you really need to control the recoil. It already has great bullet velocity and damage range, but we're going to make everything even better with this class setup. So there's a reduction of aim down sight speed and aiming stability, which is not a big deal. The tuning, I increased the recoil control at 0.28 inches and the recoil stabilization by 0.59 ounces. Put on the HR 6.8 barrel for damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control, and hip fire accuracy at the cost of aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, and movement speed. Trust me, you want this on there. This is the best possible option. The tuning, I put the damage range of 0.37 inches and the recoil steadiness to 0.39 pounds. 6.8 high velocity for bullet velocity at the cost of some damage range, and since this already has max damage range, this con isn't even important, but we're going to make it even better. Tuning set the bullet velocity at 8.71 GR and the damage range of 0.50 G. 50 round drum. I mean, if you want 30 round mag, then I would suggest this in multiplayer, not so much Warzone, but this is ideal for Warzone. It does have a good amount of TTK and fire rate. It's not the fastest fire rate, but it does get the job done, and you do want to have as many bullets as possible with this gun. MW2, once again, my personal preference, and I maxed out the far distance. Another beautiful weapon is the Castoff 7.62. This weapon is honestly top 3 assault rifles, and ironically it's number 3 in this video, but this, in my opinion, can get the job done easier than the majority of the assault rifles in this game. We once again start out with the second Tread 40 for vertical and horizontal recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed, aiming stability. For the tuning, put the recoil control to 0.11 inches and the recoil stabilization to 0.44 ounces. Put on the Cast 10 584mm barrel for damage range, bullet velocity, hip fire accuracy, and recoil control at the cost of aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, and movement speed. Increase the damage range by 0.26 inches and the recoil steadiness by 0.29 pounds. Believe me, you don't want to go past this. It's not going to help. It's going to hurt it more. Lock grip precision 40 for the recoil steadiness. Now this cannot be tuned anymore. It only has a reduction of aim down sight speed, but this is the grip you're going to want to have. It's so much better than the majority of these others, especially for the Castoff 7.62. This is just the ideal underbarrel to have. 40 round mag. If this had 50 or 60, I would use that, but unfortunately it only has 40. This is the best possible option. 20 is not enough unless you're playing multiplayer, and the base 30, I'm just not satisfied with it. I put on the MW2 and maxed out the far distance. The Lockman 5.56 is for those that want to have absolutely no recoil and not really have to try at all in Warzone or multiplayer. Start out with the Harbinger D20 for sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness at the cost of aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and aim walking speed. Set the bullet velocity at 0.55 inches and the recoil smoothness to 1.08 ounces. Beyond that, this does not help anymore. Put on the 15.9 Lockman wrap barrel for recoil control, bullet velocity, damage range, and hip fire accuracy at the cost of aim down sight speed, movement speed, and hip recoil control. The tuning set the damage range 0.01. I know that sounds weird, but it just does not help beyond that. And the recoil steadiness set to 0.37 pounds. 5.56 high velocity for bullet velocity that costs some damage range. Set the bullet velocity at 8.42 GR and the damage range of 0.59 G. 60 round mag. In my opinion, the 40 is okay if you're playing multiplayer or if you're soloing, but for squad squads, trios, duos, you want to have the 60. Trust me, this has extremely high fire rate, and you want to have as many bullets as possible. MW2, once again, this is my personal preference, and then I maxed out the far distance. And now an extremely underrated but overpowered gun, the Castoff 545. Put on the Harbinger D20 for sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil smoothness at the cost of aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and aim walking speed. Set the bullet velocity to 0.35 and the recoil smoothness to around 1.13 ounces. IGK 3406mm for recoil control, bullet velocity, damage range, and hip fire accuracy at the cost of aim down sight speed, movement speed, and hip recoil control. The tuning set the damage range to 0.30 inches and the recoil steadiness to 0.19 pounds. Aim out V4, this is my personal preference as usual. Max out the far distance. 5.45 high velocity for bullet velocity, cost and damage range, which we're gonna fix. Set the bullet velocity at 5.94 GR and the damage range of 0.23 G. It does not help you on this point, so make sure you stick it to around here. And a 60 round mag. Now the beautiful thing about this is, like I said, the Castoff 762 only has 40. This gives you 60, so you have more than enough bullets to get the job done, and it's basically just as strong as the Castoff with this build right here. Now these are the two perk packages I run when I'm using either a overkill build or a single gun build. Overkill is overkill, double time, fast, and high alert. And then the other one is tracker, double time, fast stance, high alert. Tracker is actually very useful, so if you're only going to be using a single gun with a regular secondary, this is the optimal choice. And this is just a freebie secondary if you guys need it. This secondary right here is amazing. You don't even have to tune it if you don't want to. This build right here works perfectly. It's the MAC-10, it's the X13 fully auto. Everything you see on here is what you're going to want to throw on there, and this is the best secondary in the game. I run a stun and a throwing knife. I mean, that's pretty universal, but I'm going to give you guys one more thing, which is going to be my settings. First, here's the quick settings. So if you guys just want to go from here, that's pretty easy, but we're going to go more in depth real quick. Controller settings, everything that you guys need. I'm just going to go through this real quick. Make sure you have controller vibration off. Bumper ping, you don't really need that. Stick layout default. My button layout is stick and move flipped. And then what I do is I go to PlayStation, because some people actually wonder how I have my own button layout where I have L2 to circle. All you guys have to do is go to accessibilities, very simple, go to controller and then custom button assignments. I have this on and I have the L2 and circle swapped out so that when I'm sliding, or in this case dolphin diving, it's just L2 instead of circle, which is very simple. I mean, next we're gonna just go down the list. I play on the 5.5 sensitivity. My sensitivity multiplier is pretty much the same. Once we go to advanced, you guys will see my ADS sense multiplier focus is 0.80. I play on the Black Ops aim assist, which is actually a cheat code. You guys may not know this, but the Black Ops aim assist actually gives you stickier aim assist than anything else. This also works on Modern Warfare 3, so if you guys want good settings, aim assist settings, controller settings, graphics settings, absolutely everything you may need, I'm gonna hook you guys up a video in Modern Warfare 3 as well. But for right here, I have dynamic. Pretty much everything else is kind of left alone. I mean, I don't mess with the gyro settings. Prioritize interact. You have to be careful with the prioritize interact because it can put you in bad situations if you're in a fight and you're trying to reload. If there's something right under you, it's going to make you pick that thing up. That may help you out, it may hurt you, but if you're trying to reload, just be very careful, be very cautious as it interact. Armor plate to apply all, so all you guys have to do is push and hold the button one time and it'll apply all your plates instead of having to constantly hold that button to apply the plate and then end up letting it go to actually stop. All you guys have to do is push the button and then you'll be able to run away easier or do some sort of movement easier. Basically, you'll have a very easy gaming experience. Next is the automatic attack sprint. I mean, this is just my preference. I'm going to have this on Modern Warfare 3 as well. I don't touch any of these things, and pretty much after all that, you'll be good to go.